What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series for Lake Eufaula. This is actually going to be number 4 for Lake Eufaula. We're still working the north and the west side of 69 to show you where those points are. This time we're more up in that northwestern quadrant. Let's go see what we found. Bye. Let's take a look at Lake Eufaula from the Google Earth standpoint. I want to first pull over here to this thing over to the right and just show you how we have this broken down. In case you missed any of the videos before, this is actually our 4th video on Lake Eufaula. We did 2 videos on the Lake Eufaula East section. That's going to be pretty much everything east of Highway 69. So that would be this whole section here. We've already done 2 videos now, or sorry, one other video on this section, which is the Eufaula north and west of Highway 69. So west of Highway 69, we covered all of this. We went up here and we actually stopped at I-40 up here, right here in this section on the last video. And that's where we're going to continue on today, is to move on up and come back down and then go back up a little bit more and come back down. So we'll cover the rest of that section today, and then we'll come back later on and we're actually going to talk about the south section, which I'll go ahead and highlight it here so you can see it. And that'll be the section south of Highway 9 and kind of east of Highway 69. So for this one, let's go ahead and just talk about how we have it broke down real quick. We've got bridges and culverts all in this entire section. I'm actually going to move this up. We talked about this section last time. So really we're more focused on this area today. So lots of different culverts to check out, things like that. We've also got channels and ponds. So here's all your channels. Went ahead and mark those for you. We'll talk about those here in a minute when we draw the water down. We have several different house foundations that are out here, so you definitely want to check all these out. These can be really good spots to fish in the summertime, those foundations that are out there. We've got several offshore hotspots that we're going to talk about later on when we circle back and talk to you about the Navionics boating app. And then we've got several ramps and slabs to go check out. So if you've ever heard me talk about fishing on any of these lake breakdowns, I talk to you all the time about making sure that you don't pass up the boat ramp pattern. The boat ramp pattern is a very effective pattern at certain times of year. We've also got a little bit of rock in this area, not as much as some of the other areas, but definitely some higher percentage areas to look at. And then last but not least, just different kinds of structure, man-made structure, whether it be debris, tires, brush, laydowns, pretty much anything you could think of. We went ahead and marked if we were able to find it. So let's go ahead and highlight all of that again. We're going to take off the offshore stuff. We're going to go up here to I-40. I'm going to move this back. And we're going to drop this. Actually, it's already set to 2011, but here's 2021. I'm going to bring this all the way back to 2011 because that's going to be the best image for us to start on. So I'm going to take this to 2011. Now you can see the water's down pretty far, and we're actually able to see some stuff up here on this side as well. So we're going to start here again, right here on 40. If you missed the video before, what we covered on that video was that lower section, plus we got up here and started coming up this bank line before we stopped right here on that boat ramp. So we're going to start right here where it says rock. So I want you to zoom in here. Actually, as I zoom in here, I want you to see this. This is a pretty good rock right here. And then you got a little bitty ditch kind of coming through here too that may be interesting to check out. Now, if I move this up to 2021, you can see that it looks totally different. And that rock is actually there as well. So it's not that much farther down. There we go. 2017 actually gives us a better image in this area. So now you can really see it. You can really see that ditch. So I'm going to keep moving up. You've got some rock in this area as well, right? But it's pretty much the whole entire bank line. But definitely check it out. I didn't mark them for you, but I probably should have put one right there that just says rock because I kind of like this little rocky spot right in here. And then pretty much that whole bank line's all rocks, but you do have a laydown on that bank line as well. So you got a lot of rock in this section. Actually, now that I'm moving up, it pretty much starts I guess it's even all through here too. You've got rocks. You can't really mark rock because the whole thing is rock, but look at this. I mean, this can be a really good stretch to run pretty much from right there all the way down to here. you've got rock and stuff to fish around. You've got some pretty cool stuff back here in this area. This just looks cool. Even if you don't catch a fish back here, it'd still be cool to go back here and look at that. It just looks really neat. You've also got a little bit of good rock right in here too. So depending on how far out that goes, so that whole section again could be a good section back behind this dock. You've got a little bit more of that rock. It's just kind of scattered everywhere. You can see it kind of scattered through the bank line. But even right here, even that little rock pile right there, that one's actually, I like that one. I'm going to go ahead and mark that one. And the reason why I like that one is because it's a little more isolated, right? Those other ones are really kind of all together. But this one is a little bit more isolated than the rest. So, and plus it's off the edge of a point, so you can't beat that. So let's go ahead and move this over. We'll put this back to where it needs to be. And we're going to keep moving up. We've got another ramp that's right here. Now this ramp looks good because obviously it doesn't get used very much at all. It's got pretty good rock all around it too on this bank line as well. And there's those transition lines we were talking about before. There's one over here on the left, and there's one over here on the right. So if you look over here, you can see it a little bit better. There's definitely a transition going on right in there. Let's look at that boat ramp. Just see in 2021, yeah, that boat ramp's way out here. So this can be good stuff to fish around. It might be pretty muddy up here. It looks like the water gets pretty hairy up here from a mud standpoint. But try to get this back. Now I'm back. Now it says 2018. I was 2017. Earlier in 2011, even earlier than that. So let's keep moving down just to see if we can see anything else in here. We've got those rocky spots. I don't know what that is. We didn't mark. We may have marked some of this as offshore stuff, but maybe like a little pump station or something like that. You might see if those come further out, and it is off the edge of the point. There's a little bit of rock there too, so maybe check that out. Other than that, I don't think we saw too much in that little area there. Now coming up, we've got some more creek channels to take a look at. And then now my imagery is going to get a little bit tricky on us. So we're going to move this back to 2017, see if that helps us. 2014, no. 2014, 2012. Let's go with 2012 because it doesn't seem to like us. Sometimes you got to play around with this. There's that slab. We're going to move on up, come around here. We've got a couple creek channels back in there, nothing too crazy. We do have a house foundation that's over here, though, so you definitely want to check this out. Almost looks like an old slab, but it's an old house foundation. And when you move that up to 2021, that one's totally hidden as well. Now, this may be pretty dang shallow up here. It appears to be getting pretty shallow, but maybe not. We'll have to look at it from the Navionics side, and we'll see. But we also have a bridge over here. And then as you move further up, to show you guys where I'm at, I'm still moving my way up from I-40. You can see how brown the water is getting up here. But as we get up here, we got a couple ponds to take a look at, so you can fish around those. You got a culvert that's out here, another little creek channel. There's another pond up there. Again, we got more creek channels up here with the little pond off to the side. This whole area up in here looks kind of fun, kind of frogging fun. Also up here around this bridge, that's definitely going to be a good spot, like fishing right around here. And then you got a pretty good little pond dam that's over here too. This one looks a little healthier than that one does. So you can check those out. Those can be good. Then move it over. We're going to come around. We've got a ramp that's out here right there. And then we've got these laydowns that are out here as well. It doesn't show up as well on that image, but if I move it up, I think to 2017, you're going to start to see a little bit better. I can't get the image out there now, but it's right in there. You also have a little bit of riprap in here too, right? Right in here and right in there. So maybe something to take a look at. I'm just not big on really chocolatey milk fishing, so I'm not sure if I'd spend too much time in here unless the water gets a lot clearer. In which it looks like it will get somewhat clear, but it's still pretty brown. I mean, right here is 2014. That's doable. But those other images, definitely not. That's just way too milky. But even here, I mean, this is pretty decent, 2012, and it's still not too bad. So you got a pretty good boat ramp right here. Coming out here, I would definitely fish around that point. It just says, hey, fish around me. And then coming up here, you got the culverts, another creek channel, another one of those foundations, and a couple laydowns that are in here as well that you can see. And those are going to be pretty shallow, so not sure if they'll come into play or not, but definitely worth checking out, especially if you're up here just motoring around. We come out here, you're actually going to see a little point that comes out here. You got a laydown that comes off here, but you got a little point out here too to check out. So you can check out that point and then come in here a little bit closer to the flat up here. And there's a pretty decent laydown that you can see right there. Moving on up, another laydown up there. Again, we're getting into an area where I just don't see too much good stuff up here. We got a little pond dam that's up here as well. As we move further over here, we've got another creek channel, another house foundation. And this one's interesting because it almost looks like, a fence row or an old roadbed, possibly right in here. Here's the old house foundation right here. If I zoom in, you'll be able to see it. But you can kind of see the rest of the foundation there. But there was definitely an old road here or something at one time. You can kind of see where they're connecting. Again, not sure if this would be a good place to fish or not. It looks like it gets pretty hairy up in there. But you've got some good creeks coming back in there as well. So you got lots of flow. That's probably what's making it so brown as well. You got a little pond. So if you get back up in here in this creek, you've actually got a little pond that's back in here you can check out. Of course, it'd be fun just to fish all up in that river as well. So all kinds of good stuff going on that side. But from what I understand on this lake, for those of you that are just kind of exploring the lake, my understanding is a lot of the good fishing is more on this eastern part right here, and then the triangle being like basically right in there where you see kind of that triangle area. That's a really good area to fish as well. Not saying that these aren't good areas to fish, but just from what I was reading, those seem to be the most popular areas, I guess I should say, from what I saw. So you've got some creek channels down here too, some more creek channels as we move up. Just really, not seeing a lot of things other than just ponds, and of course culverts. There's lots of culverts. So you got another pond right here, but just not a really good pond dam, right? Just nothing really good there. Got a bridge that's out here, so that could be good. You may have a little bit of a hard point right here by this power line, so maybe check that point out. Moving over, another house foundation that's over here. Culvert that's out here. This pond dam looks decent, but I don't know. Let's move the water up to 2021. I don't think you can actually go and fish it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one because I think when we saw it, we thought it had potential, but it didn't. Now, another culvert out there. You can kind of see the remnants of it. You could fish around that. Getting back in here, you have more culverts. You have a couple ponds that are here. So if we move that back to where we were, 2012, now you can kind of see what's going on. There's the culvert. So fishing around that. Here are the ponds. But these ponds, even though we are marking the ponds can be good just to fish around those areas. And sometimes they're a little bit deeper and things like that. That can be a little bit clearer water. But the ponds that I like are the ponds that have those dams, kind of like we saw earlier with the really good straight dam that you can fish around with the little bitty opening. Those to me are the best ones. Now moving up here, we've got more ponds up here, a couple more there. Another house foundation that's out here. You can see it's way off the edge of this point, right where those birds are at, really. But it's right in that area. That's going to be a good one because just the way it's positioned off that point. You've also got a couple culverts out here, a couple more boat ramps kind of scattered throughout here. And, just looking at this, you can tell the swing coming this way, right? So it's going to hit this bank line a little bit harder. So your higher percentage areas are going to be more on this side for the most part, and you're probably going to get some harder areas. So, it's not really rocky here, but you can definitely tell that it's a harder bank line than anything else, which I know that doesn't really make any sense because that makes it rock, but hopefully it'll make sense to you. It's not the big loose rock, that you would typically want to fish around, but this could still be a good little bank line to fish because it is all very hard and very rocky. All right, so over here, more ramps, or not ramps, but a decent ramp. Then we've got another bridge, another pond. Let's see if this pond's any better. That one's a little bit better just because it has a little bit of walls to it. So that one might have some potential. It's a lot better looking than those other ones for sure. We're going to move down here. We're going to go underneath I-40 now and come back over here to this side. And when we get over here, there's some pretty interesting stuff right in here. You get into some pretty good rocks in here. Right here off this point makes a really good little point. It actually makes a pretty decent little point up there too. So some pretty good hard stuff going on here. Again, probably wanting more of a swing of some sort is what's causing all of that rock. But you got rock all the way down that bank line. I couldn't really mark all the rock there, so it wouldn't make any sense. But just know that there's definitely rock there, and you'll see it if you go to that that rock point that's there. You're going to look south and be like, oh, okay, there's rock everywhere all around here. So we've also got another pond there. That one's kind of weak. I don't like it too much. A little culvert that's back here, another boat ramp. Fishing around these boat ramps, they're in juicy spots usually. So you definitely want to go fish them. Another ramp right there. Another pond going on back in here. This one looks a little bit better. It's a little bit more defined, right? So that one definitely looks like one you'd want to spend a little bit of time in and just see. You got another culvert back here. You've got some debris. You got a random rock pile. This debris just kind of sticks out right off this point. So if I pull it up to 2021, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just kind of right there in that rock pile that we just saw. It's totally submerged. If I take that back to 2012, there's that little rock pile. It doesn't look so little anymore, but it looks like it may even scatter out to right in here. So it's pretty good debris going on right in there. It's just past that little island that's right there. All right, so pull this back. I'll show you guys where I'm at. I'm right by Highway 150, just south of I-40. When you come out here, somebody's got some tires out here. In fact, somebody's got a lot of tires out here. I believe that's what those are. Maybe that's not tires. Maybe that's rocks. But whatever the heck that is, it looks like it's tires, and that could be a good spot to go fish around. Even if it's not tires and it's rock, that'd be a good spot to go look at as well. Got more ponds back in here. Looks like I don't have this back far enough, so let's go back a little bit further. Another pond right in there. I have all these little ponds just kind of scattered all over the place, and culverts and bridges. I feel like there's tons of culverts and bridges. You see all those here, and then you really won't see much on the bank line. Nothing really to be able to point out to you, except for every once in a while you'll find these little juicy places that have stuff like this, like these rocks, obviously man-made stuff that someone's throwing out there. You got some of there, got a little bit right here as well, just kind of off that bank line. And then of course I didn't mark it, but I missed a ramp here, but you could fish around that ramp too. So that is Fountainhead Marina. So right in there, just to the west of the boat ramp, there is where that rock pile is. And then if you move up, of course, you got some more rock right in here. That looks like another decent little pile. And then a good little ledge rock right in there, and a little more off this point too. So you kind of got a good little area stretch from here all the way to here. Obviously, you can either skip the docks or fish the docks, but you could spend a couple hours just fishing all that right there. Moving on down, we got more slabs, more ramps, a little more culverts. I know I'm going pretty fast, but there's not too much in here to look at. And then now we're getting down to the bridge where 150 is. And we get off that point. Obviously, you want to fish around that bridge, right? You got good riprap around that bridge. But when we get around this point, it doesn't really appear there's much out here, like rock-wise. It all just looks like this light-colored sand. But if you come to the inside of the point, there's a little turn in here. And right on that little turn is a really good little rock pile. And I like that spot a lot. That's another one of those spots that it catches my attention. It's definitely a place where I would go fish. And after I hit that rock pile, I'd probably go over here and hit these two little points too, where this little the rocky stuff is, and just see if I can find anything, hanging around those couple areas. So I like that spot right in there. As we move up, we're getting into shallow stuff again. We get up here, we just got a bunch of culverts, another pond that's kind of stuck back in here. But again, we're talking pretty shallow now. Got a couple house foundations that are still out there. Another culvert. Nothing too juicy really back up in there. Now you do have this little area here, which is kind of interesting. It's got a lot of growth. It's got a little creek that comes back through it and stuff like that. Nothing really good to mark for you guys, but there is a pond that's out here as well. So you can look at that pond. Another one of those culverts. Those culverts are all over the place. Like I said, more of those. Just culvert city, culverts. Nothing off this point. I'm hoping for, I'm coming down here, I'm thinking there's gonna be a bunch of rock right off the edge of this point. There's nothing there. But a bridge out here. There is a little bit of rock right in here. We'll talk about in a minute. Another bridge that's right there. A little house foundation. This one's actually right here off the edge of this point. So I don't even know. You can see the remnants of it, but I don't know if that's actually going to be underwater. So it would just barely be. So it'd be right there off the edge of that point. So barely fishable there, but it's definitely there. You can see it. You kind of see the outline of it as well. And we're going to move down and just see what else we got here. I don't think we have anything too crazy. Culverts, more culverts. These culverts are cool because there's basically nothing around them. It's just basically water. Now this culvert I don't even see, so let's move it over. And let's just see if it's... Yeah, that culvert doesn't even exist anymore. It looks like it's washed out, so I'll just delete that one off there. But a lot of those culverts, like you saw earlier, the ones that were really exposed, that we saw like up here, those could be good little spots to fish because if you look at them, they look good. definitely look like something could hang around them. So go look at those for sure. Let's go back down where we were. We were back in there taking a look at those culverts. There's the pond. There's another boat ramp that's back in here too. This one's all jacked up, so that could be a good little spot there. Looks like maybe have some standing timber as well, possibly. Maybe a possible lay down in there. That dock's pretty well isolated, so you could fish that dock and then come over here and fish this area. You may have some really good success there. That looks like a good spot. Another one of those spots that kind of sticks out to me, like, hey, yeah, let's go fish that. Like I'd say, hey, let's go fish this slab. Let's go fish that area where we saw that rock on the inside of that point. That looked really good. And then there were a couple spots up here, up by that marina, where we saw the base of the bluff wall that had all the rock. That looked really good as well. So there's still some pretty good spots up in this area. We've also got coming down here. Let's just finish this up because I keep talking myself. But we just got a few more to cover here. Let's zoom in here and just show you this. We just got a little rock pile that's out here. Now this one's kind of isolated. So that one definitely could be a good one. And in fact, it looks like we missed a lay down here, but there's a big tree here. May not be here anymore because that was in 2012, but something to look at. And then you've got all this riprap too. You could run that riprap, probably have some pretty good success on that. And then moving over here, we're just going to see again, you've got the rock all around this point, but that spot that we marked here is it may not even be, I marked it rock, but it's actually some kind of debris. But you got rock that goes around it, and then you've got debris. It could be a pipeline. There's no telling what it is, but it's definitely something the fish are going to be attracted to. And then, of course, right back in here, the last spot I want to show you is all these tires that are back here. So you can see there's just a whole bunch of crap in the water. And if we move this up to 2021, you go back and you think they're just a couple tires, but there's a lot. There's a lot going on right here. For you crappie fishermen, that may even be a really good crappie spot as well. But some stuff to check out. And then notice when the water's up, you've actually got a little bit of opportunity to get around a little bit of riprap, crankbait style, stuff like that. A little bit right there too, but nothing too crazy. And then that takes us back to Highway 69 and finishes us up for the north and west sections for Lake Eufaula. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Please make sure to go out and check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We've got all those waypoints out there for you where you can either order it digitally or I can send you the SD card. You take that card, you put it into your graph, and it puts all these waypoints on there for you. It will change the way you fish. We also send you the KML file so you can go through and do your studying kind of like we're doing here on this video. So please go check us out, simplisticfishing.com. And if you could also check out our sponsor, omniafishing.com. I put the link in the description. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.